Okay, just a little bit of randomness here. Got a few different pocket knives that I'm gonna have a little bit of a play with, and the target is the pool noodle again with the stick in the guts. Not trying to chop it in half. What I am trying to do is just do some at range little flicks, put some cuts in it as if it's potentially fingers, hands, wrists, forearms of a potential attacker. So I might put some berries in there with a little bit of a cut or something like that. I'm not sure. I'll just make it up as I go along. I'm no expert, haven't done hardly any sort of training in this field, but just having a play. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to upload it. We'll just see how it turns out. So I haven't really practiced deploying, even though that I should. We all should really, if that's why you carry something. I, living over here, would definitely not carry to defend myself. It's just strictly to cut my lunch, obviously. That's why I would never train for anything like this. I'm just playing. Okay, so that was Cold Steel Crawford, one of my all-time favourite EDC knives. It's $50 Australian. It does everything that I ask it to, and I was very surprised with what it done before in the last videos about when it came to cutting the pool noodle. So when we first look at it, doesn't look anything too significant, but they're not bad little cuts. I wasn't doing any big chops or anything like that. It was more just like little flicks of the wrist with a couple of little pokies. So that's one long slash there to here. Another vertical one. So yeah, there's definitely lots of cutting there. That would be, you know, if it wasn't an attacker's fingers or hands, their fingers would be sore, their hands would be sore, they'd have blood coming out of everywhere. They would seriously have to be considering whether they're going to keep the attack coming. My second favourite, the Luzon Large. That didn't deploy then when I pulled it out of the pocket. Did then. The main difference I could notice between this one and the Crawford was nearly everything I was doing I could feel the stick, so the cut should be significantly deeper. We'll go check it out. big slash, nice and deep, and it's even bit into the stick at the top there. Nice and deep, right to the bone. Actually, that slash there goes from there all the way out. I can get my finger right down to the stick there. And of course it finished a bit early because I knocked it over. Becoming to be a little bit of a compromised pool noodle, but we'll move on to the next one anyway. It's the Voyager, cold steel Voyager. These are all cold steel knives too. Serrated edge. Okay, it's the first time I've used the Voyager for anything, and I can tell you that when I felt I wasn't even doing anything hard then either, no big chops or anything, but I could actually feel the serrations biting into the stick in the guts. Feel it bite, and I could feel it like, I think that you could actually hit this into an adversary's arm, it would bite, and I think that you'd actually be able to move it around. In the end, when it did fall down, I just gave it a little bit of a push away, and I had full control over the bite that it had into the stick. So, you know, you could chop it up, probably move it out of the road. Chop, bite, really tear into it. You know, I've read heaps of people, you know, sook and whinge about serrations, but after listening to I've seen a couple of people, Lynn Thompson as well talks about serrations as well, when it comes to cutting through like a leather bikie vest or, you know, some heavy clothing. Serrations are the way to go. When it comes through, even if it becomes a little bit blunt, dulled, it'll still do the job. So to me, that's why something like this, it gives you a fair bit of reach with a nice big long blade on it. I think this one's 5.5 inches. When you use that rear pistol grip, that's giving you a lot of reach. I think we'll have a look at this. I think it's going to be pretty special. Okay, so this one here is obviously, when I went to do a slash down, I only just sort of nicked the edge of it. Oh yeah, you can actually see the cuts in the stick itself. Easy peasy. So what I might do this time is cut off a bit of the I'll cut it off here. So I believe that's fairly fresh. This is the Raj too. You give that a whirl. Okay, so we started with a clean top, took that whole scallop off there. We've got two cuts in here, one going a bit of an angle there, another one going in there. Okay, we've got this nice long one where I sort of, okay, so it starts where my thumb is, comes out, stops where my two thumbs are. That was the slash, that's where I poked in and brought it down, and I felt it hit the stick actually when I poked it in, hit the stick, gave a little bit of a pull down, so even at the bottom there, that's the stick. Okay, looks like there's a little bit of a slashy thing there, maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's, and this again, I could actually feel I could feel it bite into the stick itself, so oh yeah. I can see a couple of new cuts in here. I believe that was from earlier today with one of the 1917s. There's another little one here. There's another one here. There's actually a nice long little cut there. Oh yeah, I can't remember which one this was. Might have to look into that might have been the Luzon large actually. There's some nice big deep sort of crisscrosses in that. Anyway, I guess that was a little bit of a play. Nothing real scientific there. Yeah, pool noodles probably gonna cut a little bit easier than skin does, but at the same time, skin cuts quite easy. And if anyone's seen, like, you know, a decent sort of nice clean cut, doesn't take much for it to open up. So in a scenario where you're wrestling and fighting, I watched a guy one day showing off. He had a razor blade and he was showing off, trying to show us how cool he was, and he cut himself. Actually, it was this chest, his right chest. He put a nice little cut across there and didn't look like too much, and then just from moving his, from just general moving, he was telling us how much it didn't hurt and things like that. And then all of a sudden it just went, poof, ended up being about an inch wide in the middle, and he shit himself and ran off. So yeah, skin's a little bit funny like that. A fine little cut can open right up. So it's probably not a bad medium for how much they cost. Shove something in the guts if it's cutting through this, then cutting into that, go this end here. I don't know if you can see, that's a nice cut. I can actually get my whole fingernail easily, there we go, and it's gone through the bark. I'll follow the cut there, look at that. It followed this cut here and then followed that one down to, there's another cut just there too. So it's actually gone through the bark, through the noodle, through the bark, and into the wood itself. I don't know if you can see that line there. Cool. Shits and giggles.